that the big ideas that are shaping Australia right now, and we've addressed some of them through this series, that there's no difference between men and women. You don't really need a mother and a father to be a fully adjusted, well-balanced person. You don't have to believe there's a God in order to have a reason to think that you should live a morally good, upright, wise life. All those are wrong ideas. I think they are wrong ideas, but society has bought them, and they believe that people can be born genetically predisposed to a particular sexual proclivity, to use big words. That way it'll take you a while to be offended rather than being offended immediately. That because you feel a certain way, that makes it right. And I think all of those ideas are wrong. I think there is a difference between men and women. I think children really do fare better when raised by their mum and dad. I think that you can be born with all kinds of desires and hankerings, and just because you feel born with it, it doesn't make them right. So there's all these things that society has bought into that don't correspond to reality. And what is the fruit? I said to you, here's my theory, when people's ideas of reality do not correspond to reality, people get hurt. And can I tell you, I think we are one of the voices, one of the 7 voices. And when I say we, I mean us, but I do particularly mean me, because as a pastor of this church, can I tell you the concept I have as a pastor of this church? I have a concept to do my best to try and care for you and try to impart God's word to you so that you get it and accept it. And I try to encourage you and motivate you to read God's word yourself through the week. I try to do that to the best I can. I don't know that I do that good a job at it, but I try to. But I also know that being pastor means not only do I have to care as much as I can for you, I have to lead the church, make decisions, I have to deal with things, and I also have to represent you. So when Lagana Christian Church says something about someone, it's usually me presenting that somewhere, and that means that there are issues where I think you expect me to do that. I think you expect me to take a stand. I think you expect me to speak on behalf of the church. And I think you expect that. And can I say, I need your prayer to do that? So having said that, I'm now going to say, but I think we all need to play our part in being one of the 7 voices in society, because at the moment, society is really hurting. And here is what I want to talk about in particular. And if this doesn't concern you, maybe you've got a heart of stone. But this should concern you. In Australia today, more people are dying from suicide than from road deaths. That should cause you to go, that's not right. Thank you, that's the name of the series. Not quite right. That's not right. It's not right. I mean, I've been on this planet a little while now, and I have, in my 50 plus years on this planet, I have never lived in Australia when that was the case until today. And I showed you 2 weeks ago the historical progression when society continues to throw out biblical truth, when it continues to throw out God from the picture. The result is that people get hurt. And we can track this over the last 20, 30 years. The other problem is that when the church thinks that it's reaching out because people are coming in, we're kidding ourselves. We want to, I'm just not in the notes. Can I tell you, I want to build a bigger building. And we want to build a bigger building so that more people can come in. But can I tell you, in my thinking, there is something in between those two things, and it's we've gone out. We've gone out. We've sown seed. We've built friendships. We've spoken to people. But I know, as I hear Jodie this morning say, she was terrified to come in to this building. And I want to create, I hope, a building where we have a big, open, airy foyer, well-lit glass, and there it is, and people can come in and people can feel welcome to come in, and it's an inviting place, and we can see people come in because everything I'm reading in the data tells me that this is the most desperate time in Australia's history. People have never been so hurt. People have never been so confused. People have never been so under pressure. Mental health has never been so bad as it is now, and we've got to do something about it. We, the church. I'm going to make the case that while people are looking to governments and asking governments the question, government can't do it. I mean, just can't do it. Whenever I hear government presented with a problem, they think the answer is always money. Well, we'll fund it. You can't fund a deeply spiritual problem. Let me give you some of the stats here involved with this. These are some of the electorates around Australia. Just to make the point, Canning in Western Australia, there were 90 suicides. This is the last election period. 90 suicides, and the road toll was 54. In Longman, Queensland, the suicides 162, the road toll was 68. Cunningham, New South Wales, suicides 91, the road toll 37. Boothby, South Australia, suicides 64. Factor in that the population of those electorates are getting smaller and the rate is going up. And the road deaths were 13. Corangamite, Victoria, 111. And the road toll was 65. Something's not right. Something's not. And we can go, and by the way, Bass, at the electorate on the other side of this road, we're in the electorate of Lyons on this side of the road. On the other side of the road, it's Bass. That features in the top, if not the top, suicide rate per capita in Australia. And I know this empirically, anecdotally, and I'll make this case in a moment. You'll see these are not that this gives you any bragging rights, this should give you sad rights really, but Bass features in the top suicide hotspots of Australia, right here, our town, Launceston. This is not right. This is not right. And I don't want to live my life as if I don't care. I don't want to do that. I don't want to live my life as if coming to church is all about what I'm going to get out of it, what I'm going to do, what I can, this is about me, my for and no more. That's not my attitude. And for God's sake, and I mean that quite literally, please do not have that attitude. If Christ is in you, his heartbeat beats in your soul right now, and his heart beats for people, particularly those who are hurting. So this is why getting your worldview right is literally a matter of life and death. And the statistics point to it. The more society has drifted away from true north, from God and his word and his standards and his truth, the more people have despaired and taken their own life. The data is very clear.